Hello everyone, my name is Dan, and today I want to show you the completely redesigned and perfectly safe method of getting obsidian using the Wither and the end portal. Some of you are probably here from Panda's video where his setup sort of failed spectacularly, but me and him got together, and after a lot of time, we finally found a method that is completely safe and perfect. So, at the moment we are in the storage room, so I've got quite a couple chests of obsidian going. It's not completely full. Not sure exactly how many of these. I haven't counted, but still. Now let me show you where the wither is kept. So, what? Oh, not again. That is why I did not go into acting school. Still, the point I was trying to make still holds true, and that is that you are using the wither to harvest obsidian, and though you can do that at a rate of 9 obsidian per second, you have to understand that it's not perfectly safe, as in if you mess up or if something goes wrong and the wither escapes, your whole world can potentially get broken. On which point I do have some good news and some bad news. Let's cover the good news first. I'm currently in one of the zipkrowd's test servers, and this setup has been running for well over 10 hours now. Inside each of these cages we have the target, we have on the other side the wither and the second target underneath, so basically just a complete copy of what I had set up in the obsidian farm. And they aren't getting damaged at the moment because all the chests filled with snowballs that you see in here are by now empty. On the positive side, that means that all of these, there's 16 of them in case you can't count while I'm flying around, all of them have been running for 10 hours and none of the withers escaped. So you're pretty much guaranteed that this this setup I'm about to show you is completely safe if you do it on a server. This is important. And the reason this is important ties into the bad news I have. This is the exact same map going on for exactly the same number of times, so 10 hours, that I have going in my single player world, so just on my computer. And as you can see, just by the lights, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I believe. Right, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So 6 of the chambers failed out of 16 in a 10-hour period. By fail, I mean like that sort of failed. Basically the wither escaped and wreaked havoc in the world, and if it wasn't for the bedrock cage, he would have destroyed everything else, but because of the cages, some of them are continuing perfectly while the rest are broken. But yeah, that's basically it I have. More or less, this setup is completely safe if you do it on a server, but if you do the setup in a single player world, you have call it a 50-50 chance of the wither escaping within 10 hours. So if you're planning on building this in a multiplayer world or are feeling very lucky and want to try it out in a single player world, I will now do a brief fly through of how the setup works, and then we'll get on to the tutorial portion of this, which I'm sure you're all waiting for. Alright, the setup is quite simple, and I think Panda explained it pretty well in his video. You have the wither, which breaks the 9 blocks of the end platform, I guess, which auto-regenerates because we keep sending through the snowballs at a rate of 1 per second, and they get collected down below along with the obsidians, sorted out, and passed along into the dispenser, which shoots them out at the wither. In here we have just a normal item collection, where we collect all the obsidian, and sometimes snowballs get through because of a strange bug in the programming, not because of the design. But yeah, that's the reason we have several hoppers here leading into the dispenser, so we have some backup. Anyway, going into here, there's the sorting mechanism. Pretty standard. We have tests, item elevators at the two sides. During the tutorial I won't be actually showing you this setup for sorting items, so I'm just gonna give a brief explanation of how it works so that you can build your own, because it's not really part of the entire obsidian farm. It's just, you know, you can do it whatever way you want it. So it's rather simple. The items go up, they go into this circle here. Because of the obsidian chest, they get aligned perfectly with the line, so they are still on the ice block, but they can get sorted by the hoppers. Then we have just this area of hoppers going down, and then 3 into each chest. There's 8 lines of them that I set up simply because I felt like it. And then you just have the chests. Very simple setup, and I won't be showing you how to build it because, well, first of all, it's very simple and you can probably do it just from what I told you about it right now. And second of all, if you're doing this in single player, unlike in multiplayer where this is absolutely fine, if you're doing this in single player, the wither has a chance of escaping, and you really don't want to place all your chests with the valuable obsidian this close to ground zero. So the good idea, and actually you may as well do this in multiplayer as well in case you made a mistake and the wither escapes, is you take this channel that provides obsidian and just lead it off far from the farm, somewhere very far and potentially very safe where the wither won't go, and just put your storage room somewhere there. I mean, it's not really you need it this close to the end portal location, so yeah. But yeah, as I already mentioned, if you're doing this in a server, you're absolutely safe if you build this setup exactly as I show you. So you can also build it as I did, you know, within a couple blocks of the wither. Alright, that should be enough for this. So let me get into a new world and start the tutorial. So maybe it's not a completely new world, since I already have stuff built here, but it'll do. Simply put, I'll just cover the overworld portion very briefly, because Panda did a great explanation in his video, so I suggest watching that for the overworld portion. All the fun stuff with chunk loading and setups and everything. For me, I don't need that because being creative, I set up the end portal right in the middle of the spawn chunks. So if I kill myself, I'll appear here. The only thing I'll say about this is you want the clock to be shooting the snowballs into the portal set as like this. So you've got the comparator into a repeater on 2 ticks, back into another repeater on 2 ticks, back into the comparator. And that feeds into the dropper. I've set it up facing upwards simply because I could turn on the portal after I've placed the dropper. In case of you probably have the portal turned on when you're doing this, so you want to create a kind of drop shaft, something like that, going up however high you really want to, with a dropper facing downwards to drop the items in through the portal. Everything else Panda covered, so just watch this video. On this side, I've cleared off everything except for the exit and entrance, so you don't really need the exit. I just put it here so I can go between the worlds easier. So let's start the actual build. What you want to do first is get yourself some cobblestone walls, some glass, some ice would be helpful. You're going to need signs, and yeah, let's get the blocks of iron as well, and start. Right here, break a hole which is 1 off to the side from the center. This is going to be where you're going to spawn the wither, so place the fence or cobblestone wall right underneath there. Get some signs and sign off the 3x3 area, which is going to be broken by the wither. So something not there, like this, will do the trick. There we go. And that means that if the 3x3 area is broken, water doesn't completely pass through. Then going off to the side here, or actually right underneath, place a expendable block and ice down below, 2 more expendable blocks and a block of iron. And the reason for this is that right down here is where we're going to place our first villager. And yeah, it does have to be a villager. We tried it with iron golems and it really doesn't work as well. So go with the villager. We've tested it with villagers, we know it works, so there we go. Close that off. Then enlarge this to a 3x3, like so. Extend it 1 to the side, where you build the holder for the wither. And on one of the sides, extend it into a 4x4. So just like that. You can pick the other side if you want, but then you kind of have to follow my tutorial and mirror everything, so I would suggest just doing it this way. A lot less painful and less problems. Then go to the last side and place the block up, like that, and you can fence that entire thing off. Except for one, yeah, never mind. Just like that, like that. And the last ones you can use iron, simply because you will be able to stand here, so close that off and increase it to 1. You don't need these actually. Lastly, break these because this is where the water is going to flow. And starting from this one, including this one, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then on the edge you put in 4 more, 1, 2, 3, 4. When going to this block here, go down 2, break that one, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. What you want to do next is just finish off the sorting and the water flow. So we're going to need some ender chests, some hoppers, the iron bars, and just regular blocks and comparators. Alright, starting right from there, place 3 obsidian, what are they called? Enderman chests. Then some hoppers into 1 and 2. Then just 1 block there, just any block really, and get a dropper. The dropper goes right here, not there, right here. As you notice, it's aligned with where you started the next channel using your ice. Get in some more hoppers and just feed them into the dropper. Then with blocks of iron, extend it like that, and we're just building a regular item sorting mechanism here. So it should be rather self-explanatory. I'll just go over it briefly, just like that, with 2 comparators, some redstone dust and redstone repeaters, dust, 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 and repeaters in there, set on the default 1 tick. Then some redstone torches down below. Rather simple. On this center portion, place a block directly underneath the dropper, 2 more blocks like so, and a torch down there. 2 blocks further down, 1 out, and 1 like that. Reason for this, rather simple. You want a redstone repeater there, set on 2 ticks with redstone dust, connecting to that, picks it up, and another one right there. So that gives us a very basic clock, and because this block is directly underneath the dropper is turned on by that clock. Now we want to put in a turn off in case when the dropper is not, what is the word alright, when the dropper is empty. So we put in a comparator, a block up like so, and a block down underneath, so we can place redstone there and not have it connect to the two at the sides. Then we place a redstone torch and just extend this here and place redstone wire. And that's basically it for the sorting algorithm. Let's fill them in right now while I still remember to do this. Get any kind of, actually I might as well do it the same way you will be doing, so with Enderman pearls and fill. I would suggest, highly suggest, strongly suggest, I can't explain how important this is, in case you accidentally drop in ender pearls, you don't want everything to mess up, so what you want to do is get yourself an anvil, go with an ender pearl, and just rename it to something like sorting obsidian 19892. Alright, there we go. So you are, unless you accidentally drop in another ender pearl named sorting OBS 192 into the system will not fail. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then add in some snowballs. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take that off. And some snowballs. There we go. There should be just one left. Yep, we're good. So to finish this portion off, we just take iron bars and put them in a line like that. And on the other side, we can just finish it off with walling it down. Like so. Yep. Going down below, pretty much the same thing. On all sides. And same here. There we go. Break that. We don't need the anvil here, or in case you placed it. Going down to here, you want a block of iron and surround that. Down below, you might as well just do the same. And this is Test's item elevator that he came up with. So you can use regular fences or nether brick fences to place it like that, and some iron. I use iron. You can use any solid block. By solid, I kind of mean a, full 1 by 1 by 1 block. So you can use glass as well, in this case. So just like that, and we can bring it up. That's the elevator. This portion here is where your obsidian will be flowing out of. So you want to take this and lead it off to somewhere, your own personal storage facility. Remember that it's at 9 obsidian per second, so considering that the hoppers can only take in obsidian or any items at 2.5 per second, you want, at least like 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not like that unless you have a obsidian or enderman chest, but let's say here 1, 2, 3, 4. Naturally, all of them will be feeding down instead of into each other and into the. Oh, fine. You probably know this, but fine. I'll just do a brief show for those who don't. Right. Because I'm using different alternating trap chest, I can place them next to each other. Then this is much simpler than I would personally do it. I would put in the enderman chest to connect so that it flows faster, but this works as well. And I already showed the explanation for the design I had, and I'll have the map links for download so you can just copy from there. But this should be enough for a very, very simple storage facility. You probably want it to be better than that, but yeah. Let's leave that as like that for now. Going after here, let's actually start with the wither cage. Now, I have to say this is very important. Please follow all instructions carefully, because if you mess this up, the wither can escape and wreak havoc upon your world. So starting off from here, extend these, and this is going to be where you stand to kill the wither. So we need a fence key. Right there, break the block directly underneath it, and place an iron door. If you're doing this in survival, you can't leave after you do this, so you place a switch here to turn it on, and a door. Yeah, that doesn't help. Get someone else outside, or place it from out here or something, because you want to open it so you can come in here, kill the wither, leave, turn it off, and yeah, leave the door closed. Increase the size of these and place half slabs right there. Then here is the exit. So this is your like that, out to the side. And there we go. That's more or less the entranceway to killing the wither with the switch. Done. Going off to here, let's connect the snowballs and all the redstone with it. So a dispenser on top of that stone slab, another stone slab on top of the dispenser, then blocks all around and blocks on top. Then just extend this here, one block, and add in these wall. Then this is the ceiling, so you can go ahead and kind of cover up the ceiling here. Remember, it extends one block to the side from the original platform. So just like that. Let's proceed with the walls. So just like that, cover it off, proceed with the floor a bit higher, that's the doorway. Close that off. Out to the side, start closing the side off. Same thing on the opposite side. We can cover that if we really feel like it, and if your end platform is underground instead of floating in space, you would be digging this part out, so just thought I'd mention that. Then we just need the doors, so we can place them 1, 2, and 1, 2. Good. Going here, let's just add in a walkway. Just like that, and finish off this board. Now, you can just leave it as is, or if you're like me and want a viewing window, you can add in the viewing window. Note it doesn't make the design any less safe, because the only time when these glass blocks would be broken is if the wither is not shooting the way it's supposed to be, which naturally means that your entire setup is about to blow in any case. So, you know, using obsidian for everything around for blast resistance is not gonna mean jack shit when the wither escapes. So yeah, by when, I mean if you fail on building this properly. Right, so there we go. We'll continue with that portion later. Right now, let's do the water flows. So going on the inside here, break the 2 corners and get ourselves a dispenser. 2 of them, in fact, down into the 2 corners. That's going to be for the water, as I already mentioned probably. Down below, just put 2 blocks like that and extend it here. Since we're doing this, we might as well finish the water flows. Let's do that before we do anything else then. Right here, we want water on the following squares. We want 1 here, 1 directly next to it, so just 1, 2. Then on the opposite side here, we want to do the same, so 1, 2, just like that. Notice it flows right to this block here, with this one being empty, and that's good. But notice the water isn't feeding it properly here, and there's, you know, it's not all flowing one way, and that's the reason for this block here. we place water right on top of it, and all the waters should be fine now. Almost. Slight mistake by me here. I remove that block of water and place it here instead. There we go. Now we're all good. So there's one here, one on this block, and going back down to this side, there's 2 water blocks here. And that's all feeding to here. You can tell it's alright because if you drop an item anywhere in here, it'll all end up here. So that's good. Let's close that off. There we go. And proceed to this point. So we want torches and place them directly underneath the dispensers. Redstone line just along those blocks. Get any block really and extend it from these 2 and put in repeaters. Set them on, call it 4 ticks, all 4, that's good. Then a sticky piston facing upwards and a block on top of them. This is more or less just standard pulse limiters in case you know what they are. Down to the side and one up, just like so, with the redstone dust there and a torch down below. Then we can connect that to here, block, another block, same thing like that, and redstone dust up there. Such that if we put another repeater here, what this does is, if this is turned on, it flicks the dispensers once, and if it's turned off, it flicks the dispensers once as well. So that's basically it for that. We can just extend this portion right up to here, and this block here we can break it and replace with a solid block, so we can place redstone line directly like that. And that'll connect to the redstone portions here. So let's do that at the moment. We'll use hoppers first to connect like so. There was the dispenser there, so we just put this line of 3 and 3 side like that. Then we get some ice and 2 ice, and let's connect this item elevator up to the ice, just like that. That's good. Basically the items from the item elevator, which is the snowballs sorted out from down below, will go here and appear in this slot. And if we just encase this portion and close this off with a water stream, it'll go into there. We'll do that later so you can actually see the redstone here easier. Going out to the side right here, we want a redstone repeater facing into the block next to the dispenser. A block of iron there, and actually here is fine too, just to cover all of that up with the redstone. Then 2 blocks here and redstone on top of them as well. Then extend that. You can actually cover that up to help with item flows. Those 2 blocks there in case you didn't see me place them. And 1, 2, 3 blocks like so. All we need to do next is a redstone comparator set on subtraction mode, feeding into a redstone repeater on 2 ticks, feeding out from this block redstone on 2 ticks, and a redstone dust there feeding back into the comparator. Pretty much the same clock setup as I showed you in the overworld. Then redstone dust feeding into the comparator like that, and a redstone torch there. Reason for that is we're going to place a block directly on top of that redstone dust, and we'll place a switch right on top of that block. And that's this power switch. If you turn it on, it sends in a signal here, flicking the 2 dispensers for the water, and simultaneously turns this on, clock on, to start shooting snowballs. When you flick it off, it turns that off and sends in a signal to pick up the water. That's it for the redstone portion. You can actually break this one, it's not really doing anything. And cover this up now, just like that, and like that. Alright, Let's put in the last villager. So just place blocks there to cover all of that up. And a circle around. Place blocks there just if you want. 2 more blocks there, so it should look something like this. Then we raise up this, extend this, and as you can hopefully kind of start to see, the villager will stand there. To make sure the villager doesn't escape, we half slab this portion and just increase that if you want. Going into here, we get the villager. If you're doing this in survival, you will need to get it from the overworld. And you place the villager right there. Then close that portion off and half slab that one there. Alright, lastly we just get a water bucket and pour it into there, so get this small water stream flowing that way. And you're basically done. As far as I can see, the farm is complete. Naturally, if you want, you can cover that, make sure it's a half slab so the two aren't connected. And then just kind of provide you a floor and entrance, exit, do all that fun stuff to connect them. Same thing on this side with blocks and staircases, so just extend that, provide some stairs up for ease of access, I guess. Something like that would work. You can just wall that off if you want. And just, you know, do whatever you want here. If you're doing this here, remember that the floor has to be on this level, because these blocks will be pushed up and they need enough space. So other than that, go ahead and do whatever aesthetics you feel like to make it look good for you. You know, cover this all up, or if it's all in underground already, just, I guess, close it off. Right, so I won't go into that. Let's go ahead, and this part is important. Get yourself some snowballs. Alright, and some of them drop into there and they're already sorting, so we'll actually be able to see them appear in the dispenser. We should. Right? Right, we forgot to add in the water here. Of course we won't. Right, go into here, place a water block there, and close that off. You can use glass as well. There we go. So now the water flows all along and leads right into there. And now, alright, sometimes as you see they glitch through and don't go into these. Just some really weird, and that one is glitching itself already. Yeah, as I said, there's some problems with hoppers in Minecraft, and yeah, anyway, we did pick up these snowballs. Some of them glitched out, and some of them fell underneath when we were replacing it, so we don't get a full 16/16. Let's actually do a small test here. I'm gonna drop in 16 and another 16, and then 8 and 8. That was actually a mistake by me. It's a bit too fast of them. Yeah, I forgot that the hoppers can only handle 16 at a time. My mistake there. Anyway, so that's kind of useless. Alright, I won't take up too much of your time there. Suffice it to say that some of the snowballs do not get picked up and go along to be stored in your obsidian chests, and that is the reason you want to take this and fill up the dispenser full of snowballs. I don't have enough, but you should. So fill up that dispenser, go into the back, fill up this hopper, fill up this hopper, fill up this hopper, fill up the hopper underneath the half slab, and fill up this hopper as well. So fill them all up with snowballs. That'll give you enough of a backflow, or yeah, anyway, such that if you lose some snowballs, the machine doesn't stop inexplicably by itself. Which, although it won't do anything for the safety, meaning that if you're in a server, it's still perfectly safe. And if you're in single player, you still have that small chance of the wither escaping no matter what happens or what you do. But yeah, let me summon the wither, and I believe everything is done, so we can actually begin. Well, okay, no, never mind. Completely forgot. If you do it now, everything breaks. So this is very important, so please follow through. Directly where you're standing, where the wither will be standing, break the block above it and the block directly in the center of the platform. Then you want a half slab and a dispenser. The half slab goes right above where the wither is going to be summoned, upside down I believe, or right side up, I'm not exactly sure which way is upside down for half slabs, and a dispenser there. Going off right above there, we lead a redstone line to the dispenser and a button. Finally, let me get some water. So you want 3 sources of water here, pick them up. One goes into here, one goes into here, and one goes up there. Remember, when you put in the water for these ones, make sure that the system is turned off so that when you turn it on, it starts shooting snowballs and the water level goes up. When you turn it off, the water is picked back up and disappears, and the snowballs stop. That's good. The top one, you click the button and the water flows. You click it again and the water stops. You should definitely do these tests to make sure that everything works fine before you summon the wither. Alright, now we can summon the wither. Let's go into the overworld. As I already mentioned, my setup here is slightly more complex than yours would be, and this is because this is set up in the spawn chunks, so this is always loaded. So I just put a pulse lengthener here that kind of, when you turn it on, it stops the clock from working for roughly a minute, which gives me enough time to summon the wither before the snowballs start shooting through again. So you need some soul sand and some skulls, 4 and 3 of each. You turn it on, you go through, or at least for me, watch Panda's video for how you should be doing this. Break that one, put in the wither. Make sure you break it where he's supposed to be standing, because otherwise you summon him in the wrong location and everything goes boom. Put that in. Now watch, I'm in difficulty hard. I am game rule mob griefing true. Summon the wither, go out to the side with the button, click the button. The water flows, and you can kind of go a bit farther away so as not to get damaged. And make sure you're further away than this villager down below, because otherwise he'll target you and everything will be bad. Right, so let's pick up the water, and he's in good. He's good. As you notice, he's kind of shifting around every now and then, and if you hit him, he breaks the correct blocks. But what you want to do is, if he's not positioned properly, you go down below, break this. I would suggest getting a healing potion and just throwing some healing at him before doing this. Then just get a regular block or just punch him, and make sure you punch him so that he's roughly in the center back. Once he's closed in, he's not going to be moving anywhere. He just moves from the center because of the wither. And notice that the way I positioned him, he's roughly looking into the back. So you want him to be looking at roughly into these 3 blocks here. So right now he's looking at this block here, so we're good. If he's looking here or here, you're also good. You do not want him to be looking this way. We did the test and we believe it's still safe, but just for peace of mind, it's a lot safer if his 2 heads are hitting the walls here instead of having a chance of passing through that slot. Just, you know. It'll save you grief, maybe not, but yeah. By maybe not, I mean it might not be helpful, as in the wither might not escape even in that situation. But just do it and you'll probably feel a bit safer. Let's turn it on. We turn it on, he breaks it. Notice this is how you want it to happen. He breaks it and there's a bit of time for all the items to drop down. Give it half a second. You can time it and it should be roughly half a second to be good. So that's actually good and we are done. But in case you messed it up, right at the bottom here. I completely forgot about this as well. You want to place a upside down half stone slab and water into there. And that leads off your obsidian. Another one there and another water. So that just leads it to the end. It actually, yeah, that's good, fine. So there we go, now the obsidian will flow. Forgot to do that before, don't know why. Anyway, what I was saying before I noticed that is you'll notice that this clock is in no way connected to the one in the overworld. So if you turn it on, it's possible to get it turned on badly. You know, it's kind of funny. When you want to do it bad, it's rather difficult. When you want it to be good, it's also rather difficult. That's also good. Give me a moment. You need to wait a couple seconds before turning it back on, and it's really all by timing, so this is okay-ish, but it's getting a bit on the bad side. Let's try it again. Come on, I'll try it 2 more times, and if I can't get it bad. Alright, that's close. Come on. Alright, I give up. More or less, if you can get it to a point where the platform respawns almost a couple milliseconds after the wither breaks the last one, so you can almost, so the items don't drop down properly, and you really don't want that. So something like this is okay, where you have half a second. So if he breaks it, half a second later the platform rebuilds, half a second later the wither breaks it again. So that's the way it should be. Also, don't worry if the water isn't completely filled up when you turn it on, because in any case the water will gradually proceed just over time and get back to the way it should be. Right, when you're running this, keep the doors closed. And this prevents any of the obsidian from flying out. And the farm is done. It's producing 9 obsidian per second. If I go here and go clear and stand in this area, I'll be picking up obsidian. So before I finish the video, a couple last minute facts. Before you summon the wither, make sure you use healing potions on your villagers, because if they die from the initial explosion, your wither will escape guaranteed. That's number 1. Number 2 is I would like to mention once again that this design is perfectly safe in multiplayer only. In single player, there is roughly a 50-50 chance of it escaping within 10 hours due to the random bug in single player where the render engine and the process engine are interconnected and intermixed. And it's rather annoying, but anyway, it has to do with those fences, I think. And Panda agrees with me, or I agree with Panda in this case. But yeah, other than that, it's up to you. Just once again, remember you're using the wither, which is inherently dangerous. So that's it. A like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll be seeing you later. I have several other cool designs I want to show you, and yeah, for now this is enough. I'm currently working on something a bit cooler than this, but it's sort of failing at the moment, so if I ever get it working, you'll see something pretty damn awesome similar to this. So this was Dan, it's been fun, I'm signing off. See you guys.